Next on ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend, a celebration goes horribly wrong in India, killing or injuring hundreds and destroying a temple site. And new details on the Brussels terror attack suspects, what they're now admitting to this morning. And police still investigating a deadly pedestrian collision around the borderland overnight. And storm track weather, Iris.
We saw a beautiful day yesterday. Today, what is in store for you? Is it the winds? I'll let you know coming up.
This is all the news you need to start your Sunday, April 10th. ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso weekend.
Well, good morning, El Paso, and thank you for joining us. I'm Andrew J. Polk. New details from our New Mexico mobile newsroom. New Mexico State Police have shut down parts of I-25 at Highway 70 in Ana County. It was shut down for several hours starting around 12 last night. It's back open this morning. According to a state police spokesperson, at least one vehicle was involved and one person was critically injured. Again, the interstate has reopened, but we are still trying to find out more information. New Mexico State Police Sergeant Elizabeth Armijo has told us the crash is still under investigation as well. As soon as we get more details, we'll be sure to update you on air and online. Looking around the world, a festival celebration turns deadly in India. A massive fire broke out during a fireworks display at the Puningal Temple earlier today. This is a file photo of that temple. That's in the southern coastal state of Kerala. Nearly 100 people were killed, more than 250 others were injured. Police say sparks from the display ignited a magazine of fireworks, causing an even bigger blaze. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted his condolences and said he plans to visit the site of the fire. And authorities have made new arrests connected to the Brussels terror attacks. After nearly 3 weeks of frantic searching, Belgian authorities announced yesterday that they arrested and identified the elusive man in the hat. The federal prosecutor office said terror suspect Mohammed Abrini had confessed to being the vest and hat-wearing man whose video image had been widely circulated by authorities. The prosecutor's office said Abrini threw away his vest in a garbage bin and sold his hat after the bombings. The 31-year-old Belgian had been suspected of being involved in both the Paris and Brussels attacks, but his precise role was unclear. The revelation that a Paris attack suspect escorted two of the Brussels bombers to their deaths is the strongest sign yet, as the Islamic State attackers who brought mayhem to both European cities, killing a total of 162 people, were directly linked. Also part of the Friday raids, Belgian officials say they have identified another suspect. The Belgian Federal Prosecutor's Office released a statement identifying Osama Krayem as the man seen in surveillance video walking alongside an eventual suicide bomber. Officials say Krayem, seen here, is also known as Naim Al-Hamed. He was one of 6 people arrested in Belgium Friday, and according to the prosecutor's office, he is charged with, quote, participation to the activities of a terrorist group and terrorist murders. Well, back around the borderland, police are still trying to find out what caused a deadly pedestrian collision last night. The crash happened around 8 yesterday evening on I-10 East and Porfirio Diaz. This is a closer look at the scene. Police say one man was injured and later died. It's unclear how the pedestrian was hit. Fire department officials say the man was transported to UMC with serious injuries. We're still working to find out more, and we'll have the latest on air and online at KVIA.com. And a man stranded on the Franklin Mountains for more than 7 hours is now safe this Sunday morning. Fire officials say a 49-year-old man was hiking with a group when he injured his leg. The group was on the 1,000 Steps Trail near Stanton and Excalibur. They were able to call emergency services with a phone, but ended up having to use mirrors to communicate. ABC7 reporter Julio Cesar Chavez was there as crews worked to rescue the man.
A long hike finally comes to an end. 33 combined search and rescue crews, 6 Border Patrol agents, and even the Red Cross came together Saturday to rescue an injured hiker in the Franklin Mountains.
We were dispatched at 12:13 p.m. and he was down from the mountain at 7:07, so about 7 hours.
El Paso Fire Department spokesman Carlos Viriano says the man was located and treated around noon, but it was the rescue itself that lasted hours. That's because the hikers were several miles off the 1,000 Steps Trail in treacherous terrain. The injured hiker couldn't move at all.
We had to descend with him in a basket,
forcing crews to be very strategic, moving slowly, less than 200 feet at a time because of his injuries.
We didn't want to have further injuries or have a ComStar rescue team member injured.
Briano says it was one of the longest rescues in recent memory, second only to an overnight search last year.
And that was Julio Cesar Chavez reporting. The hiker was taken by the fire department to a local hospital. Officials say he doesn't have any life-threatening injuries. A fire spokesman offered these important tips. If you're going hiking, please take enough water with you, no less than a gallon per person with our desert heat. And don't go off established trails. You're more likely to get lost and hurt otherwise. So speaking about our weather, getting to your storm track weather now. So your first forecast for storm tracker Iris Lopez. Good morning, Iris.
Good morning, Andrew. A good Sunday morning to you all. And if you do have plans to go hiking, you are going to have to worry about those winds. So just be safe out there. You could still go outside. It's going to be a good day temperature-wise, but you are going to have to deal with wind. Speaking of outside, you know me, I like taking a live look outside. No windows in here, so I look out through our WeatherNet site, sponsored by the Mattress Firm. This is over on the northeast side of town, Powell Elementary School. You can see we do have those clouds in our forecast, but very, very beautiful start to your Sunday. Our temperatures right now, hey, take a look at El Paso. We are already in those upper 60s, 67, 55 Las Cruces, as well as over in Alamogordo, and we pretty much have 50s all across the board. Our winds now, El Paso, they are slowly starting to pick up. 12 mile per hour wind speeds, 7 over in Las Cruces, and 12 as well over in Guadalupe Pass. If you're going to head out to have some breakfast with the little ones, go to Grandma and Grandpa's house, this is what you can expect temperature-wise. I'm not going to say go have menudo because then I get hungry. Man, I just said it. 9 o'clock will be at 67, then we're reaching 68 by 11 o'clock. You can see it is going to be breezy for the start of your morning. Threat tracker showing wind moderate to high category, rain and lightning to the low and moderate category. I'll tell you how much rain we can expect, when we can expect it, and we're just going to talk about those winds. All that coming up. Andrew?
A big turnout for the Walk for Wishes. That's how hundreds of people started their weekend. More than 700 in total walked around the Fountains at Fair to support the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The organization grants wishes for children with life-threatening illnesses. Volunteers, families, and participants cheer the children on as they don their capes to cross the finish line. One man we spoke with said that his son was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. He says Make-A-Wish stepped in to grant his wish to meet Captain America.
It was great to see him smile. He had a great time, and when we came back, he just continued the chemotherapy, and he's doing great now. He's back in school.
And organizers tell us more than $49,000 was raised, so congratulations and thanks to all who participated. And residents in northeast El Paso also started their day with a walk, but it wasn't just any leisurely stroll, it was a walk with a purpose. About a dozen people showed up for the area's first ever Walk the Block. The group, All Lives Matter, hosted the event as a way to try to bring the community together. Members went door to door handing out flyers advocating for a safer neighborhood. The founder, Sean Nixon, says he wants to end violence and drug abuse in the northeast.
We have kids that's doing drugs. We have kids that's doing entering gangs. We have kids that have gang signs up and everything, and we want to put a stop to that.
The group will also be holding a community meeting and say they hope to form a neighborhood watch. If you're interested in going, it is this Wednesday at Andres High School at 6:30 p.m. And an El Paso group is trying to make a difference one bowl at a time. They say there are more than 131,000 people in the borderland who don't have enough to eat, which is why El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank is working to fill their bowls. The organization held their annual Empty Bowls event to raise funds to provide food. The food bank distributes to food pantries across El Paso, making it accessible to hungry families. 16 different restaurants were on hand to serve different types of soups, and beautiful handcrafted bowls were on sale as well. Organizers tell us hunger is a real issue that must end.
The hunger problem is getting larger rather than getting better. With wages remaining low and food prices going high, everything else going up higher, there's less money for people to be able to purchase nutritious food.
And their overall goal for this event to raise $50,000. Another organization called Rebuilding Together El Paso hosted their first ever Chef and Stars event, helping to raise money to repair homes for low-income, elderly, disabled, or veteran homeowners. 8 local chefs paired up with 8 local stars to compete in a culinary competition, and among them, one of our own, Denise Olivas.
Food, drinks, and fundraising.
It's called Chefs and Stars, and they're pairing chefs with local celebrities.
8 local chefs and 8 local celebrities, including sports guys, radio DJs, TV advertising, and journalists, paired up for a cook-off. Besides enjoying the food, the event was geared towards giving back to the borderland.
We're really raising money for a really great cause. They're helping, people who are disabled or low income rebuild their homes.
And all of the chefs competing agreed, helping those in need was much more rewarding than winning the best dish.
When I got offered the opportunity to jump into this charity organization, the biggest thing was getting the people in El Paso taken care of. It had nothing to do with us.
Being a local El Pasoan, it's always good to give back to the community, so it was a good opportunity for us to showcase.
Although very thankful for all the donations, the organization's president says there's plenty more work to do.
There's so much need for the people. The poverty is tremendous. It's incredible. The average salary of a person we help is $16,000 per year, and that puts them in the bracket of very low to extreme low income.
This week is also National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Across the U.S., thousands of communities and organizations will pay tribute to victims of all crime. Today, there will be a memorial and ceremony held at the Ed Marquez Library, located at 610 Yarborough. Starts this morning at 8 and is open to everyone. The memorial service will pay tribute by reading the names of all the victims in El Paso who lost their lives to violent crimes. Members of law enforcement will be there, along with victims' advocates, and music played by the Bellar High School Bagpipe Band. And the city is cracking down on dangerous buildings in downtown as inspectors go block by block. Our news partners at the El Paso Wink obtained emails that show the city has gathered evidence of several vacant buildings. These are some of the photos taken by inspectors at the Richard Caples, American Furniture, and Crest buildings. According to the El Paso Wink, the city has identified over 100 vacant buildings. An ordinance was proposed to El Paso City Council to require owners to secure their vacant buildings so there will be no illegal entry. It's not clear when council will consider and discuss that ordinance. For this story and more, pick up your copy of the El Paso Wink. Other headlines in this week's issue are the city manager, Tommy Gonzalez, new marching orders from city council. Only El Paso Wink has the 20-page document. And get a sneak peek inside a new design store opening in El Paso with an emphasis on quality and craftsmanship. El Paso Wink is online at KVIA.com and available for home and business delivery. Call the number there at the bottom of your screen, 534-4422, to subscribe. Well, we've dried out a bit here in the borderland, but coming up on Good Morning El Paso Weekend, how other desert cities are faring with flooding and more. And later, just added to the FBI's most wanted list and now behind bars, where the accused criminal mastermind is wanted for. It is 8:12 right now, taking a live look at traffic this morning. I-10 near the former Sarco site, moving along just fine. No major problems across the borderland. All the crashes that we've told you about from overnight have since cleared up. I-10 and Schuster also moving along just fine. And storm track weather, Iris.
Your hourly windcast, your afternoon planner you want to plan ahead for your Sunday, and I'll help you with that coming up.
You're watching ABC 7, where news comes first.